In Australia, the merino sheep was brought out to Australia in the early days as a Saxon merino from Spain. Very fine, very dainty wool, didn't cut a lot of wool. Here in Australia, they didn't really suit a lot of the conditions in Australia, so the merino in Australia was then crossed with other breeds like the English Leicester or the Lincoln to create a bigger, more robust animal, and an animal that produced a longer fibre and a better fibre for wool. Merino has been bred pretty much purely for wool, so their wool is probably some of the best for young craft from the point of view of next to skin wear. So they were bred for finer micron. So when I say micron, micron is a measurement of the thickness of the fibre. So if you plucked a hair out of your head, it'd be about 30 to 40 micron in diameter. Whereas when you're talking micron with sheep, so when I'm saying 16 micron, well, that's nearly half a human hair. And that gives you an idea of the thickness of the fibre that's coming out of that animal. So when people start saying 13 and 14 micron, you can understand that gives you a relative way of being able to measure what size that would be. And the wool is unique in its properties from the point of view of when you look at a wool fibre under a microscope, it's not like our hair. Our hair has little patches and they're not really scales. It's very cylindrical, it's very smooth, and it's hollow in the middle. Whereas when you look at a wool fibre, they have little scales that run around the outside, and depending on the breed of sheep and how big or small those scales are, so some breeds like what we call British long wools tend to be a bit harsher in the handle, and the reason for that is because their scales are bigger on the wool fibre. Their fibre itself is actually wider, so the micron for an English Leicester or a Lincoln is sort of more around that 30 to 40 micron, so it's more like your hair or a little bit thicker, and because the scales are bigger, they stick out a little bit further, so therefore that's where the prickle factor or the itch factor comes from. And so it feels harsh to the hand. Great fibre for strength though. So when it's blended with, and there is more trials being done with blending it with softer wools, like blending it with merino or blending it with cashmere or those softer fibres, it gives it a great strength in the middle, and that was what English Leicester and wool was originally used for, and Lincoln wool was used for, was for strength. So it's used for apparel as far as like your carpets, throws, rugs, couch material, those sorts of things. A lot of upholstery uses. Whereas your merino fibre is slightly different because it's finer, one, and two, because they're being selected for fibre production, we've actually selected that they produce more fibre per square centimetre, so the fibre itself is actually densely packed and also selected for its crimp, so it has a really tight crimp. And crimp is really good for in your yarn because that's what gives you elasticity and memory. So when you